Hey guys, I'm Kevin.
I'm Jake.
And this is Movie Matters. Welcome to our 100th episode. Thank you guys for watching and for listening. We really appreciate it. And we're here with one of our favorites, a banger, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Not an 80s movie. A sequel to an 80s movie. But this movie came out in 91. And it's one of the best fucking movies ever.
Yeah, close enough.
We'll count it. But we wanted to do something special for our 100th episode, and this is definitely one we always talk about, so we figured we might as well fucking do it. Yeah, this movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is the first R-rated movie I'd ever seen, and I watched it very young as a kid, probably too young, but that's okay. I'm here and I'm okay. But we just watched the teaser trailer for the movie, which Jake had never seen, and it's the coolest fucking teaser. We will show it. I mean, you should see it in this clip or in the beginning of this episode because we clip all the trailers. But if it's only going to be a little clip of it, but go back and watch it because it's fucking awesome. It's the original teaser. So James Cameron had asked Stan Winston, the makeups and visual effects guy from the movie, to direct a teaser trailer. Cameron did not want the trailer to just be early footage of the movie. And so with a budget of only $150,000, which is insane in terms of, like, look at the quality of this trailer, Winston created a trailer that showed a futuristic assembly line churning out copies of Terminators, all of which look like Arnold. Cameron was pleased with the trailer, and as he had fears about audience reactions to the trailers showing Schwarzenegger's return as a Terminator, especially with him being killed in Terminator 1. The teaser ran over a year in advance of T2's release and was shown before another Schwarzenegger hit, Total Recall, which is an amazing movie. But pretty fucking awesome, that trailer. Jake, what'd you think of that trailer?
Yeah, it's really awesome. And, like, what's funny is I remember talking to my cousin about when he saw this movie in theaters, and when you find out in that hallway that Arnold is actually there to protect him, he said the theater went absolutely bananas.
Yeah,
like,
that's
people were
so
like,
cool.
"Oh shit!" Like, like just like absolutely losing it because he's obviously the bad guy in the original. And up to that point in the movie, it's very, like, you think they're both actually going after John Connor. So it's really, really cool that they did such a
Role reversal.
uninformative teaser.
Yeah.
And did that role reversal.
Yeah, it's crazy because you have Robert Patrick's character, the T-1000, as a cop. So it's like, oh, he's a cop. Like, he's a good guy. Then you have Arnold in a motorcycle leathers, you know, and
fucking, like, destroys, like, 6 people in a bar.
Yeah.
In the opening scene.
Yeah, which is so cool. But he doesn't kill anyone.
No, he does not.
So that's kind of a giveaway a little bit. But this movie was the highest grossing movie of 1991. After its release worldwide, it was the biggest box office movie. It was number 3 in the biggest box office movies, behind E.T. and Star Wars Episode 4 or A New Hope. Mm-hmm. It grossed almost $32 million domestically in its opening weekend, the most of any R-rated film, surpassing Beverly Hills Cop 2, which we've done a review for. And but the record was broken the following year with Lethal Weapon 3, which is pretty crazy to think that Lethal Weapon 3 had a bigger box office, like, opening weekend than this movie.
Yes. I mean, we talked about... Have we done Lethal Weapon 2? We did, right?
Yeah.
Which is a great one. I feel like 3 is when they really started to, like, fall off a cliff. And
I need to rewatch it. I ended up buying the Blu-ray, like, set, the 4-movie set, because I like all of them. I mean, I've been wanting to watch Lethal Weapon 3 ever since we watched 2, which is funny. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I always want to watch this movie, Terminator 2. I've watched it recently. My girlfriend and I watched it at her house. I have this little mini Samsung projector, and we projected it up on our wall. Nice. And Watched it like in a huge screen, if you will. It was fun because she had never seen it, and yeah, I mean this movie's awesome. I mean, it's number 28 out of IMDb's top 250. I mean, this movie's iconic. It's amazing. It's nominated for 6 Oscars, for which it won 4. It won sound effects editing, best visual effects, and makeup. Stan Winston, like I said from the trailer, he just knows how to do makeup. He did the first one as well, which is crazy that it wasn't nominated for an Oscar for that, because I think this is the only Terminator that's nominated and won for Oscars. This movie,
Probably, yeah.
I don't think the other ones have. This was the first film to break 300 million in the international box office. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
After adjusting for inflation, this is the second highest grossing R-rated film at the domestic box office ever, and the movie that just dethroned it was Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, there's. I mean, I was looking up trivia on this movie. There's an insane amount of trivia on this, like almost over, like too much. But I've owned so many different copies of this movie, and I had it on VHS, and then I had the DVD version, and then I had the endoskeleton steelbook DVD that was so fucking sick, but it was like sharp, like it would literally cut you if you like held it wrong. And hold on, we got my dog coming in here. She'll probably do a cameo here in a second. There she is. She loves Terminator 2 as well. Yeah, this. I mean, I've bought this movie on Blu-ray. Ironically, I've not bought it in 4K. Do you own it in 4K?
Yeah, I bought it in 4K.
So, and it's like cheap as shit in 4K. Like it's usually like $10, $12. But I have the Blu-ray remaster, which is apparently like everyone loves that version versus the 4K, because the 4K has DNR, digital noise reduction, where James Cameron took out the like grain and stuff. He's notorious for going back. We mentioned in our last interview or review with E.T. and Spielberg, going through and kind of meddling with stuff and then changing his mind. But Cameron is very notorious for remastering his films and like getting rid of all of his grain and like making it look like kind of waxy and not how the movie was intended to look. And it's like, if you look on forums for like these Blu-rays and stuff, people fucking hate Cameron for this shit. It's crazy. Like, he just released Aliens in 4K and The Abyss in 4K, and like people think those versions suck because they've done this. He did the same thing where he reduced the grain and stuff. I don't mind it personally. Like,
I wouldn't have even noticed, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. My Blu-ray came with a digital copy, and it's uploaded to iTunes or Apple, and it now has the 4K stream on it. So I watched it streaming, which I normally don't. If I have the disc, I like to do it. I was just being lazy and wanted to watch it via stream, and I thought it looked actually really good streaming wise. But it's interesting how like fanboys get so offended by this shit. It's hilarious.
Well, and like digitally like cleaning up like the film itself isn't that egregious, you know? Like I don't get it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm happy to like they released. We should Google it, and if we can put an image up. But like Google it right now if you can too. Like the Terminator 2 endoskeleton, like Blu-ray box or like box set. Just type in box set. Let me see if we can find it. DVD. I'm gonna do DVD.
Is it a head?
Yeah, it's an endoskeleton head. Like this goes on eBay for a lot of money. Like here's one for $2,200. Like,
yeah,
it's
crazy.
It's so sick though. Well, we'll have to put the picture up if we can. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. That looks so awesome. How cool is that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So,
I had a endoskeleton from Universal.
really.
Yeah, when I was younger.
So what's funny is they made, despite this being an R-rated film, they made like kids' toys for this movie.
Yeah.
Did you ever play with Micro Machines as a kid?
Yeah.
I fucking loved Micro Machines. Micro Machines were so cool. It's just literally like what it sounds like miniature like little toys. And they had a Terminator 2 set. Like I had the like Skynet plane that they fly in the beginning.
The Hunter Killer.
The Hunter Killer. I had one of those. I had like the machine that roll like with the tracks and everything.
Yeah.
Like I had a bunch of shit. I think I even had the station wagon that they drive.
Oh
And,
yeah.
like
that's
I
cool.
had like it was so cool. I loved playing with those. I wonder if my parents still have the Micro Machines. I have no idea. I'd be curious to go and look for those. But yeah, this movie pretty interesting how, I mean, obviously the first movie was basically an independent film made for little to no money, and this movie was made with a ton of fucking money. Mm-hmm. This movie was shot in 8 months compared to the first film was 6 weeks.
Wow.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
The film was on a tight deadline as it had to be ready for summer of 91 to meet its financial commitments. When writer-director James Cameron got the call from Carolco Pictures that the film was officially greenlit, one of the first things he said to his friend and co-writer William Wisher was, "The good news is we're making the sequel. The bad news is we're already several months behind schedule." They used every available hour to write the initial draft because Cameron wanted to have a finished screenplay before the Cannes Film Festival where Carolco would announce the film. Cameron did an all-nighter before the night. Excuse me. He did an all-nighter the day before the festival, and the script was printed out while a limousine was waiting for him to get to the airport. This delayed the plane to Cannes, much to the chagrin of the Carolco delegation inside, which included filmmakers Paul Verhoeven, who did Total Recall and a whole bunch of awesome other fucking movies, Oliver Stone, Platoon, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. After boarding, Cameron handed the script to Schwarzenegger and producer Mario Kassar, then slept for the duration of the flight. So, pretty crazy that he rushed to get it done, which the screenplay in this movie is actually fucking awesome. Like, it's so well written.
Yeah, like, yeah, I think we talked about the rules of time travel in the original Terminator review that we did, and like this movie also toes that line so well and like doesn't create a whole bunch of problems for itself, you know. But like the dialogue is unbelievable. Like John Connor's character is so awesome. Sarah Connor's transformation is like unreal.
Yeah.
The dynamic between John and the Terminator is super cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, just like everything about it is just so good. Like, and it's an action movie, which is like so wild because like usually action movies aren't this like,
Yeah.
you know, well put together. So
And there's a lot of writing that pays off. It's like, oh, I'm going to do this scene and it's going to pay off in the end. And I'll get to stuff like that. But this movie is also like one giant chase, which is so fucking awesome. And it goes from one action beat to the next, which is so cool. And so like the action set pieces weave through the storyline, and that's awesome. The last movie to do that is, in my opinion, that's done it really well, is Mad Max Fury Road, which there's really no plot for that movie, but it's just one long action chase scene that's like, all right, this is the next setup, this is the next setup, this is the next setup, and then it's like, we're going back to where we started, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like this movie, where it's like,
Yeah, I bet.
it goes back to the end of like a factory and the Terminator, you know, coming after Sarah and John. But the movie opens with the war, which is super cool and super well done. And what's crazy is those machines, those Terminators in the beginning, those are real fucking Terminators. They made those. And
Yeah,
there's an
it's super
insane
cool.
trivia that's so long that I'm going to read, and I apologize, but it's sick. It's so long. I got to read this because it's so fucking cool. So, here, bear with me here. The Terminator seen at the beginning of the movie were fully workable animatronic models. The film opens with the future war sequence and the classic shot of the endoskeleton's foot crushing a child's skull. That is one of the shots you always see from this movie, said Winston. The skull, Stan Winston, obviously our special effects guy, the skull is crushed. The camera moves up to the endoskeleton's head with its glowing eyes, and its head turns this way, and that it's looking for its next victim. That was a full-blown animatronic robot. It was a big achievement over what we had done in the first Terminator. A team of 12 puppeteers standing off camera operated a series of cable, rod, and radio controls to create the endoskeleton's performance in the opening shot. Some on the crushing leg, some on a waist to twist mechanism, some on the neck, some operating a hydraulic bicep action, and others on the various head and eye movements. This tracking shot moves up to the child's skull buried in the dirt, explained Mahan, and then the foot smashes down on top of it, and the camera pulls back to reveal the whole endoskeleton. Mahan continued, so the illusion is that this endoskeleton has walked up and stepped on this skull. How it worked, though, was that this endoskeleton's left leg was planted on the set, and its right leg was smashed down on the skull with a rod that was connected to the calf, which would then trigger release so that the guy operating it could grab the rod and get out of the shot before the camera moved up. It was a 5 or 6 foot rod, so the puppeteer was pretty well out of frame anyway. He could just hoist it up, smash the leg down, pull it out, and step back out of the shot as the camera moved up. Shane Mahan and the crew had fashioned 28 crushable, brittle wax child skulls for the shot, which they brought to the Terminator 2 set. I thought 28 skulls was overkill, Mahan commented. I thought that would be way more than enough. But we did take after take of that shot, and each time some little thing would go wrong. It was very complicated because there was a lot of stuff that all had to work together. Obviously, rods and cables and all these people working together. Let's see. There were explosions going off in the distance that had to time out just right, which is crazy. Plus, just getting the look of the leg crashing down on the skull, how it shattered, how the camera pulled up, how the endoskeleton looked when it pulled up, getting the rod out in time, all of that had to be coordinated. Pretty crazy. So here we are out in some old steel yard in Fontana shooting this huge scene at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm running out of skulls. We're using them up take after take, and I'm just praying that we get the shot before we run out of skulls. By take 15, I was thinking, okay, well, we've used a lot, but we're going to get this shot in the next take or two. By take 20, I was thinking, God almighty, I've only got 8 left. What am I going to do if we run out? Of course, I didn't mention to anybody that we were running out of skulls. I was just sweating it out secretly, wondering how I was going to break the news to Jim. Any other director, 10 skulls would have been plenty, but with Jim, you make a lot more of everything, and it still isn't enough. We had 2 skulls left in the box when we finally got it. I was so thankful. Jim still wasn't really happy, though. SWS Liffer and Legacy Effects Mechanism designer Richard Landon recalled, he just said, well, I guess that's the best I'm going to get, and he moved on. And we were so disheartened thinking we'd failed him and hoping against hope that he got something he could use. But then, when we came in the next day, Jim called me and John and Shane into his trailer and popped in a videotape of the shot from the night before, and he was all excited. Watch this. It's perfect. And it was like the 4th or 5th take. That's the take in the movie. Pretty crazy, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know that was a lot, but I had to mention that because that's so fucking cool, and that's such an awesome way to open the movie. Is just
and like the way it like pans across, like the wasteland, and like everything's quiet. And you see all these like skulls and stuff, and then it stops on that one, gets crushed. And as it moves up, like hell breaks loose, and like all the stuff starts blowing up and like flying around. It's just such a good opening sequence.
And what's crazy is you don't think about what it took to make that.
Yeah.
And that's like reading that long excerpt makes me appreciate the movie even more than I already do, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. And practical effects. It's done practically and in camera. And that's a real fucking robot, basically, which is insane. Insane. And then you get the opening, which is pretty much the same opening as Terminator 1 with the Terminators arriving, which is really cool. And you get the classic line, "I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle." And then just beats the fuck and kill, like, he doesn't kill people, but he, like, just, like you said, wrecks all these dudes. And you got Bad to the Bone playing by George Thorogood, which is awesome. And he puts on the sunglasses, and it's fucking nighttime, which is so badass.
Gets that awesome lever action shotgun.
Yeah, and, like, he just puts it through the fucking, like, side pipes of the bike to, like, holster it, which is so badass.
So sick, yeah.
Also, that motorcycle is badass. That is a Harley-Davidson Fat Boy, is what they called that. My dad had the exact same bike.
Nice.
I'm not fucking joking you. He had the exact same motorcycle, and it was the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like, with the shocks and everything.
Yeah,
it was
it's a
so
really cool bike.
Yeah, like, I can't believe I got to grow up with that motorcycle, which is crazy. Like, I rode on that bike, which is badass. Like, so cool. You get the introduction of Robert Patrick's T-1000 as a cop, as we mentioned earlier, but he kills the cop.
Yeah.
I think he kills him. He punches the dude in the stomach. He's like, "Ugh!" And that it always kind of makes me laugh. Because he just, like, socks the dude in the stomach, and he's like, all right, I'm out. I'm toast. I don't know. It's always made me laugh. And then you get the intro to Sarah Connor just doing fucking pull-ups like a boss in a mental hospital.
Yeah.
Like, crazy. So, yeah, the transformation of Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor, in this movie is amazing, like you were saying. Like, she is such a badass. James Cameron knows how to write female characters and make them truly fucking badass. And, like, Linda Hamilton goes all out in this fucking movie. I'm going to read what type of stuff she went through. So, she received weapons training from former Israeli commando Uzi Gal and personal physical training from Anthony Cortez for 3 hours a day, 6 days a week for 13 weeks before filming. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Under both, she trained intensely with weapons and weights, learned judo and heavy military training techniques. She had to maintain a demanding non-fat diet even during filming and lost 12 pounds. After training, she was able to impress director James Cameron by hitting every mark with the machine gun on the shooting range, despite having no weapon experience beforehand, and she got a special compliment from Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously him being a formal bodybuilder and jacked as fuck, on the first day of filming for her ripped physique. Because of this punishing regiment, she declined to reprise her role for Terminator 3. So, also she impressed Cameron by her looks because he cheated on his wife with her during this movie. So, pretty crazy. Yeah, I think she's amazing in this movie, and she's so fucking awesome.
Yeah, and, like, the switch from the, like, mild-mannered, waitress into, like, a gun-running, like, basically, like, soldier, against the apocalypse is, like, so cool. Like,
yeah.
And crazy.
And they kind of set it up somewhat in the first Terminator with like, she basically turns into Kyle Reese. Like, the whole bomb making scene in the first one at the motel that they're at, like, that kind of starts it. Like, it lays the breadcrumbs really well. And I wish I would have watched the first Terminator right before this, but I didn't have time, especially since I just bought the first one in 4K and I've yet to watch it in 4K. But I remember watching it when we watched it for our review, that there's a lot of, like, references that tie the movies together. Mm-hmm. And I love that. I mean, it's the writing. The writing's so well done.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, he's even got payoffs in this movie from the first movie. You know, like
Oh, yeah.
so well done.
Yeah, the writing payoff is great. Like one, for example, is John's kind of hacking skills, where he goes to the ATM machine to get some money, and he's got this little computer hacker, and then later he hacks into Cyberdyne's like vault to get the keys, and that's like it's just that little simple scene that pays off later in the movie. That setup is so genius and so well done. I love that. Like. That's how you write movies, in my opinion.
And like, John has multiple lines in the movie that are seemingly kind of throwaway lines, where he's talking about dudes that his mom dated and taught him random skills, which is like super awesome too. And they're all these like crazy, like, I'm going to be the future general of the human resistance skills. You know, it's really cool.
Green beret. I eat green berets for breakfast. And I'm very hungry. Commando reference. Go back and check out our Commando review. And I also love doing Arnold voice. And then the whole, like... I love this. This is also a great piece of writing with Sarah in the, like, psychiatric mental hospital. She's, like, talking about the whole ordeal of the first movie and kind of like recapping it, and then she denies it to like try and get moved to a lesser security winged prison or hospital, excuse me. And then the next scene is Cyberdyne, who covered it up.
Yeah.
Which is so cool and such good writing. It's just, you've got, you know, there's no evidence is what he says, and then it goes to Cyberdyne and you see the arm and the chip, which is so cool. Mm-hmm. And it lays the groundwork for what's to come with, all right, the whole plot of the movie is to fucking stop Cyberdyne / Skynet, and then you have no Judgment Day, which is crazy. Yeah. So it's good. It's really well done. To think a 90s sci-fi movie about time travel, in a sense, would be well written, and it is. I'd argue this is probably the best, one of, if not the best sequel ever made.
Yeah, that's what, watching it with my wife when, you know, the movie ends, and she's like, that was actually like way better than the original. And I was like, yeah, this is like pretty widely regarded as the best sequel of all time. Like, pretty handily, I think.
The first one, and when we did the review on it, you know, I always loved the first one, but I never this movie always outshined the first one.
Yeah,
by
for
like
sure.
leaps and bounds. So I didn't care as much for the first one, but rewatching it, I love the first one. And like dissecting it like we did in our review, which I love that review we did. Like, I think that's a great episode. If you guys want to go back and listen to that episode, I highly recommend it. And we talk about like the horror aspects of it, how it's shot like a slasher, which is really cool, and how it's just an independent film that's done so well. Like that movie's awesome.
I mean, like the tone definitely shifted, I think, for T2, and definitely more towards action. But
100%.
like this is, I think, by far the smartest action movie ever written. Like, it's just like, again, like another movie where like nothing is wasted, nothing is thrown away, nothing is filler.
Yeah.
Like, everything counts, and that's like why I think it's so compelling.
Agreed, 100%. Agreed, 100%. Like, the only other sequels I can think of that are like better than the original, like, I'd argue Top Gun Maverick of recent times. Like, that movie is so fucking awesome, and I think it is better than the first one.
Yeah, I could see it.
And I'd say that's that Empire is like a great sequel. I'd say Empire is arguably better than the first one. Like, it's so good, but the first one is so good too. But like Mad Max Fury Road, I guess, could be considered like one. I'd also say Mad Max The Road Warrior is a better sequel and a great movie compared to the first one. I'm trying to think what other sequels out there. Can you think of any other ones?
There's not a lot of like really, really good sequels.
I mean, Lethal
That
Weapon
are-
2
that
I
are
really like.
leaps and bounds better than the
Yes,
original.
agreed. I mean, Rambo 2 we love, but
And Rambo
it's like
2 's
it's a
badass,
different
but-
movie.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
it's
say
completely
it's
different.
yeah, yeah. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
But you get the first interaction with the T-1000 and the T-800. So Robert Patrick's character and Arnold's character in the Galleria, the mall, and I love how Arnold's like carrying this boxes of roses with his shotgun hidden in it, which is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And
Which
so
that's
genius.
also, doesn't he do that in the first one too? I think he does.
I don't remember. We'll have to look into that too.
I'm like 80% sure that he does the same thing
Like
with
he
a
hides it?
shotgun in a flower box.
Okay, I'll have to look
Which
into that.
because like for the explicit purpose that like you're supposed to think that he's going to go kill John.
Yes.
Is it there are a lot of callbacks in that first sequence to the first Terminator.
It says no. He does not hide it.
No? Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought he did, but either way, it's fucking sick.
Well, I mean, Kyle Reese hides his shotgun under his trench coat.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, either way, it's sick. And that's like, this is like now the action like really fucking kicks in and like the chase begins, which is crazy. And you get Arnold versus the T-1000. It's get down, and then you realize he's helping him, and then
Yeah.
you get that like mechanic dude that just like walks in front of the bullets, which always fucking
wrecked.
annoys me. Yeah, and he's like his soda goes everywhere and everything. Like, I don't know, and like the gun sounds are iconic in this movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, it won for sound, so.
When the noises when the T-1000 gets shot too are like so cool.
Yeah. Like the liquid noises, because
Yeah.
liquid polyalloy. Liquid polyalloy. The heck does that mean? Liquid metal.
Liquid metal.
You get the awesome chase scene with Edward Furlong's character John Connor on the dirt bike trying to ride away. So
From like the biggest truck ever built in the history of
Yeah.
the world.
But like, dude, when the T-1000 like runs after him, dude, Robert Patrick undertook a rigorous running regimen that and practiced breathing only through his nose in order to appear to be a cyborg that could run at high speeds without showing fatigue. He had trained so hard that he's able to catch up to Edward Furlong on his dirt bike with ease. Mm-hmm. So they had
nuts.
to like, yeah, like what the fuck? That's crazy. And then you get him taking the tow truck, and then you get Arnold on his motorcycle, and they're going through the L.A. River, which is, I love how it's called the L.A. River, and it's a fucking
Barely
Yeah.
trickle. Yeah.
yeah. And the stunts through that are super good. You've got Arnold doing his iconic shotgun cocking or like reloading on the bike. That Winchester shotgun, that's iconic. So for that scene, Arnold was in pain because he could not wear gloves while cocking the gun. So his fingers would get stuck in the mechanism when he was trying to do it. He tore the skin from his fingers and hand many times before he mastered it. He would frequently hit Edward Furlong with the gun while doing it, one time almost knocking him out. He had to achieve this all while trying to act and control a Harley at the same time as James Cameron told him where to look. Pretty crazy. He could not dart his eyes either because it would have ruined the shot. Shooting the gates also took weeks of practice because he had to also act cool while doing it.
Yeah. Well, like that entire scene, he keeps an entirely like stone straight face.
Yeah.
Like no reaction to anything. It's pretty wild.
So badass.
And Patrick does too,
yes.
which is crazy.
Yeah. And the soundtrack is so good.
It's so good. Yeah.
Brad Fidel. Yeah, and then I think the CGI actually holds up pretty well. I mean, obviously it won for best visual effects, but like when the tow truck explodes and he walks out eventually and he's like all liquid, and it's
such a sick
so cool
shot. Yeah,
it's iconic. And like I love the shot of the tire kind of rolling towards him and Arnold with the shotgun. Like that
Cocks
shot
the
is
shotgun, and
that is one of my favorite shots of the movie.
yeah, it's awesome.
It's so cool. It also, like, having the T-1000 be a higher model in this liquid metal, it pins Arnold as the underdog, which is, again, kind of the same story as the first one, where you have Kyle Reese, just a soldier going up against this killing machine that is unstoppable. Mm-hmm. And you've got this same scenario, which is cool because it's two Terminators now against each other. Not just one against a human where you're outmatched, you know, David versus Goliath story. But you still have that David versus Goliath in a sense, where Arnold's just this inferior model, which is also another form of brilliant writing, if you ask me.
Yeah, and like the one thing I did think about that while watching, and the really brilliant part, I think, is that he did handicap the T-1000 slightly, because it can only make like bladed weapons, you know, out of itself.
Knives and stabbing weapons.
Stabbing weapons, no complex machinery.
Yeah.
You know, like, so like it seems like a cop out, but like really it's just like a very good rule set that he like established for the world building, you know.
Yeah.
Like it actually, I think, makes it way more believable than if he could just turn his entire body into a grenade launcher and just like, you know, like do like wild shit, you know. Yeah. And it's like, it's so sick. Like every time he turns into like knife hands and like, you know, stab somebody from like 3 feet away. Like
the sound effect of it too.
Yeah.
Like
so awesome.
The like swing and like the like pulling out of someone's fucking head. It's like awesome. So cool. And like there's some shots where he like, it's, I mean, I'm moving ahead here, but like when he stabs the truck driver, you see like clothing fibers like shoot out of the clothes, which is so cool.
Yeah.
I just love it. This is another payoff from the first one to the second one, is the dog barking in the background.
Yeah. The dogs can like sense the Terminators.
Yeah. And then you've got Arnold, you got the T-800 that uses that genius like voice mimic of John saying, "What's wrong with Wolfie?" Which Wolfie is was James Cameron's dog in real life, but the dog's name is Max, which is funny. And it's like, oh, nothing. I'm like, dog's fine. It's like,
your parents are dead.
Yeah, that's like, I love that line. So I used to work in this office where we'd answer phones all the time, and like every now and then I'd hang up and be like, "Your foster parents are dead." We did Terminator and like Arnold references all the time. It was so fun. But like, yeah, we'd be talking to a customer and then click, "Your foster parents are dead."
Yeah,
so it's such a cool line.
Yeah, it's
as
great.
Morbid as that is.
Yeah, but like that scene too is the first. Is that the first? I mean, that's at least the first time that we see the T-1000 do like a absolutely like brutal kill.
Yeah, to Xander Berkeley.
Yeah,
and that's Jeanette Goldstein. She's from Aliens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, which that scene is awesome. The effects of him like standing there with the milk carton, like shaking, is like so cool. It's really like fucked
the
up
sound
and really
of it
cool.
Pulling out. Oh, it is fucked up, but it's like it's well done. So it looks so good.
Like
as fucked up as that sounds.
Like all of the special effects in this movie are just like unbelievably top notch.
Yeah. Agreed. Speaking of special effects, the nuclear explosion scene is super cool.
Mm-hmm. That scene gave me nightmares when I saw this when I was like 5.
It may have done the same to me, actually. It may have done the same to me. That's funny. Nightmare fuel. And it's supposed to be a nightmare, which is cool. Mm-hmm. So special effects, this is cool how it was done. Special effects guru Stan Winston and his crew studied hours of nuclear test footage in order to make Sarah Connor's nuclear nightmare scene look as realistic as possible. A miniature of Los Angeles was made to simulate the scene. Some of the materials used in the miniature that mimicked all the destroyed masonry were matzah crackers and shredded wheat. After each take, it would take on average 2 days to set the model up to shoot again. In late 91, members of several U.S. federal nuclear testing labs unofficially declared it the most accurate depiction of a nuclear blast ever created for a fictional motion picture. The special effects team members have stated several times that no scene they've worked on since has received an equivalent amount of praise or emotional feedback from viewers.
That's awesome.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that whole sequence is, like, so, like, horrifying. Like, in the shot of Sarah's, like, body, like, holding on to the fence as her, like, flesh is, like, ripped from her skeleton is, like, iconic.
And she's, like, still screaming.
And, yeah, that shot is just so legendary. It's so good.
Yeah.
Then she, like, snaps awake and is like, fuck.
Yeah. Crazy. I love, like, miniatures are so underrated. I mean, you can kind of tell they're miniatures, but
a little, but like it looks fucking incredible. Like,
yeah. Superman 2 uses miniatures. The first one uses it really well. The first Superman, which we mentioned, like all these box office movies that we've talked about have used miniatures. E.T. didn't really use miniatures, I feel like.
No.
But Superman 2 did, and Empire Strikes Back. Like all the Star Wars movies, those used miniatures. At least
Blade
the original
Runner
trilogy
did.
Yeah, like so good.
A lot of the movies that are like known for their effects used miniatures.
The one movie I can think of recently that used miniatures,
Alien Romulus did.
Yep, Alien Romulus. Also, another one that comes to mind is The Dark Knight. The whole scene in Lower Wacker Drive with the Batmobile and like the Joker in the truck, that's all miniatures. Which is so cool and so well done. Like, again, practical effects. You can make this shit look cool.
Yeah.
So, you get the psychiatric hospital scene is awesome where Sarah's breaking out. I think it's so funny. I always feel horrible for this guy. I think I've mentioned to you this before, but the dude that gets like the sedative or the drug that was meant for Sarah, she puts it in him. And like
he's
the dude's
squirming on the floor.
Yeah, and like hits the fucking tray and like shoots all the stuff up in the air. Like I feel so bad for that guy every time I fucking watch this movie. He gets wrecked. I like that Arnold, swears not to kill anyone, and then literally the scene after that just shoots the
kneecaps the guy.
Yeah, it's like he'll live. So cool, so cool. You son of a bitch! You shot me. So cool. I like that, Sarah sees Arnold and freaks out, which is cool. Mm-hmm. But then he does the iconic "come with me if you want to live," which is a throwback to the first one, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like everyone that gets thrown in this movie or like hit in the stomach dies.
Yeah.
Like, to go back a little bit, does John Connor's friend, the like red-haired dude with the mullet, does he die? Because he gets like fucking tossed by the T-1000 in the arcade. And like, I'm like, is that guy dead, dude? Like, I don't know. And then
I don't know. Has James Cameron commented on that being canon or not?
I don't know. That'd be interesting. I wonder if he like in like novelization or like canon, he's like come back as like a soldier or something, like a resistance soldier.
Yeah.
I don't know. That'd be interesting to look up. But like, Arnold gets hit in the face by the one girl and like his glasses and like turns and then grabs her by the face and just chucks her to the floor and she's like done. She's like out for the count. He like hits a dude into the window and then another one into the door. Like all those guys get fucked up. Like they have to be like, I don't know, like are they dead? But like he promises not to kill anyone.
Out.
Yeah.
I think they're
like,
knocked out.
Severely fucked up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the one thing about the Terminators is if they're gonna kill somebody, they like really kill somebody. Like
true, very true. But then you get another amazing chase scene. You get the elevator where they're shooting, which is so cool. And like, well, you get the scene with it opening the elevator doors and the shotgun, shooting them, and then you got the hole in the head, which is so cool. Yeah, and then the parking garage, they shoot at that one cop. That's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
and then it's just like that chase scene's fucking cool. It's just one chase scene to the next, and it's so well done. And then, you get the setup of like, what's wrong with your eyes? It's like nothing. He like talks about people crying, and like you get John teaching Arnold the Terminator how to be more human, which is really cool. And his CPU has that learning capability, which is really cool. And like, again, another great piece of writing. You get him teaching cool lingo like chill out, dickwad, and no problemo. And he learns that later, where he like starts up the car after fixing it, no problemo. And then hasta la vista, baby. Obviously, you get that. That's That's probably the most iconic line of the entire movie.
Yeah.
And you get this is Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob. Like, so funny, so funny. You get that weapons cache of like the minigun and like Arnold giving that sly classic like smirk. I love that.
Well, then, like that's shortly after that we get Sarah's like internal monologue about how the Terminator is like better than any other like deadbeat guy that she's ever tried to like substitute as John's father and like all that stuff, and how like
it's ironic. It's very ironic.
It's very ironic. It's very subversive in that like this machine that's meant to do nothing but kill and destroy is now becoming like a almost humanized, protector. Yeah. Which is very interesting. Especially with the knowledge of Judgment Day, like looming over the entire plot, and how, the machines are the enemy, especially in Sarah's mind.
Yeah.
And to see a Terminator kind of doing the opposite is a very cool plot device.
Yeah. Definitely. I agree with that 100%. And you get Sarah wanting to take matters in her own hands to go kill Miles Bennett Dyson.
No fate.
Of Cyberdyne. And, she goes to like assassinate him in his home, which is crazy and a cool scene.
Yeah.
But she can't do it, which is cool because it just shows kind of her mental capacity is just like, you've got Miles Bennett Dyson's kid and wife being like, don't hurt him, and like she's just like, well shit, like I can't, like that's like what have I become almost. Which is like, really cool,
especially after her whole thing about the Terminator. She's not any better than they are if she goes and just murders that guy.
Great point. Great point.
So yeah, it's such good it's such a good thematic through line.
Yeah, like good parallel
through that sequence. Like basically all of Act 2 is setting up that like thematic moment.
Humans versus machines.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
Like
really cool.
Like leaning into your humanity versus being as bad as these mindless killing machines,
Yeah, great point. Then Arnold shows up with John, and Arnold shows Miles he's a Terminator by cutting his skin off, which is so fucking
coolest special effects scene like of all time.
And that's a real like that mechanical arm was real, which is so fucking cool.
So cool.
And Miles changes his attitude and wants to help to see what this has become, which is cool. He actually sees the proof behind it all. The idea to destroy the Cyberdyne Systems building to prevent the future war was actually was going to be in the first movie, but it was cut. It's a deleted scene on on the Terminator like Blu-ray and stuff. Director James Cameron said it was lucky he chose to cut that scene out as it formed the nucleus of Terminator 2. It's literally the whole idea, which is really cool. Then they infiltrate Cyberdyne. You get the awesome line, "Let me try mine," and it blows up the door, which is cool. Just all the weapons in this movie are pretty cool. SWAT, you get John breaking into the safe with the keys to unlock the Terminator parts. It's like, "I'll take care of the police." It's like, "Wait, you swore." "Trust me."
Trust me.
So cool.
Yeah.
Then SWAT comes in and wrecks Miles.
Yeah.
He gets fucking wrecked.
Yeah,
and
he gets shot like 7 times.
Yeah. And do you know who the SWAT leader is in that?
No.
It's Hank from Breaking Bad.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally missed that.
Yeah.
Damn.
What's funny is he also has a role in another Arnold movie. He's in Total Recall. He's like,
is he? Oh,
yeah, he's the dude. He's like,
that's funny.
"You got a lot of nerve showing your face around here." And Arnold's like, "Look who's talking," because he's like really fucked up. But yeah, that's Hank, dude.
He must have been really young.
He's pretty young. I think he's so what's funny is the role to Miles Bennett Dyson was offered to Denzel Washington.
That would be super interesting. I feel like it's better that it's not Denzel.
And what's funny is Denzel had a very good response to it. He said, "No offense to Jim Cameron, but when I read the script, I thought all he does is look scared and sweat. I had to pass." I mean, that's true. He's like sweating. "I don't know if I can hold this any longer." That whole scene, and he drops the fucking model that he's building. That's the replica of the chip. When Arnold walks into the lobby and just takes all the bullets, is the makeup. That's a dummy that's made. Again, practical effects, so cool. That's where you really
The
start
skin
to
is
see
like actually like ripping off and stuff.
Yeah,
it's
so
awesome.
fucking cool. That's where the makeup and effects really shine. And then also him just fucking all the police guys or SWAT guys up is crazy. He shoots the canisters of tear gas into the guys, pulls their masks off. "Here, hold this." Pulls the guy's mask off. So funny. And then he learns by pulling the visor down, the sun visor down, and grabbing the keys instead of ripping the steering column open.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. You get the T-1000 stealing the helicopter, and he does the same thing. "Get out." Arnold does that to the truck driver in the first Terminator, which is really cool. That's another cool parallel of writing.
And that
so
scene is
cool.
awesome. He drives his motorcycle up the stairs to
Yeah.
the office floor or the laboratory floor, and drives the motorcycle out the fucking window and jumps onto the helicopter.
Yeah.
So cool.
Then you get the helicopter chase with the SWAT van, which is so cool and shot so incredibly well.
Mm-hmm.
The helicopter flying under the overpass is
Unbelievable.
insane.
Yeah.
There was concern as to how realistic CGI would look when it came to having the helicopter go under that bridge. So the pilot did it for real. That's real, which is fucking crazy. Stunt pilot Charles A. Tamburo, who plays the unfortunate pilot who's forced to jump out of his helicopter by the T-1000, also performed that stunt, flying under the overpass. A camera car would be driving the Steadicam operator close to the helicopter to capture close-up shots. But the camera crew refused to film it because of high risk involved. Director James Cameron filmed that shot himself twice. Once with the camera car driving behind the helicopter and once in front of it.
That's awesome.
So badass. He's like, "Fuck it, I'll do it myself."
Yeah.
That's sick. That's so cool.
It is sick. Makes me sad that he's such a weenie now.
I don't think he's that
Making
big of a
these
weenie,
stupid
but
blue people movies.
yeah, I get that. I mean, they're making a ton of money. I mean, he's the king of fucking cinema in a sense
Yeah.
with the box office movies that he has. There's a shot in the helicopter of the T-1000 where he has 3 hands. Have you ever noticed that?
Yes. He's 2 hands on the wheel, and he's holding the MP5 with the other one.
One on the wheel, or one on the stick or yaw, one with the MP5, and the other one's reloading the gun.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's shot.
It's such a subtle shot. That's so fucking cool. Like, so cool. Then when the helicopter crashes into the SWAT van, that's cool. Then you get another chase scene right from that. The pickup versus the semi, which is so cool. Then, you know, it's a liquid nitrogen tank, and you have, it's another kind of yin and yang battle where you've got this liquid nitrogen driving into this, like, factory that has all this molten fucking steel and like fire/lava, which is cool. And you get the liquid nitrogen freezing the T-1000, which is epic, and that shot's epic. And you get the "Hasta la vista, baby," which is, again, probably the most epic line of the movie and most quoted line of the movie, I'd say.
Yeah.
Other than "I'll be back," being a Terminator line. But yeah, that's so cool. So Cameron shot the movie with 2 colors primarily for lighting and filtering, orange and blue, and they come to a clash at the end in this factory. Orange was used for the color of humanity, while blue was used for the color of machines. This was brought head-to-head in the steel mill factory, where humanity, a humanized Terminator, makes his final stand against the T-1000, the machines. The orange hues of the molten steel, which would destroy the machines, was filmed opposite of the cold blue machinery around it. Pretty cool use of symbolism and imagery.
Yeah.
Again, you think a sci-fi action movie would be, like, simple, and this movie is just complex and, like, so well done and well thought out.
Yeah.
You get the epic fight between them, where they're smashing each other into shit, and like that, like Arnold's just getting beat up and beat up and beat up in that scene, and it's like, again, he's the underdog, but he's like 3 times the size of Robert Patrick, which is hilarious. But it's so cool. Then you get Sarah shooting her shotgun at the T-1000, which is so boss, with her, like, cocking it with one hand.
One-handed,
Yeah, the one-handed pump action.
Awesome.
So cool. So Linda Hamilton actually has a twin sister, Leslie Hamilton. She was used as the double involving the 2 Sarahs, which is pretty cool. That's not CGI. Cool. That's real. So pretty interesting.
I love the when Arnold is killed at the steel pipe, like, being driven through him, when he wakes back up and pulls it through his body, is also an awesome shot.
Oh, yeah. Apparently he was supposed to go over to Bruce Willis's house. It was like Christmas Day, and he had to shoot that scene on Christmas Day instead. He's like, fuck Bruce, I gotta go film Terminator 2. Sorry, had to bail on Bruce. But yeah, I'm glad he shot that scene because it's fucking epic. And like, when he also gets his arm caught and it gets ripped out, that arm is technically still left behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never realized that.
I didn't realize that either. That's the only reason Terminator 3 could exist, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, so pretty crazy.
Where it's caught in between, like, 2 giant gears.
Yes.
On a piece of machinery, right?
Yep. And I like, Arnold comes up the machinery and just like, get down, and shoots the T-1000 with, like, a time-released rocket or, like, grenade, and he falls into lava, and then, like, it going through all its characters it's been through the lava is really cool. Yeah, and it's like awesome. Shedding all these layers of people it's inhabited, if you will.
Yeah.
And then you get Arnold going into lava and being like, now I know why you cry. And then the thumbs up at the end going in is so fucking epic. And so it's honestly sad too. Like, it's so good. Because you get the soundtrack with it, and, like, I don't know. It's so fucking well done, dude.
Yeah. The one thing that I noticed this time about that scene is that's interesting, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, but John says, "I order you not to go."
Yeah.
And he doesn't listen to him.
Well, it's because he's like, my mission's now complete.
Yeah. So that's an interesting moment too.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. An alternate ending was filmed. It showed an elderly Sarah sitting at the park telling the story about the Terminator, watching John playing with his daughter, and tying her granddaughter's shoes. It also showed John Connor working as a congressman. Director James Cameron decided not to use this ending and replaced it with the Unknown Road ending. So again, possibility for sequels.
Yeah.
Which it did. Given Arnold Schwarzenegger had a $15 million salary for this movie.
Jeez.
And his total of 700 words of dialogue, he was paid $21,429 per word. Hasta la vista, baby cost $85,716. Pretty cool.
They got their money's worth though.
Oh yeah, for sure. They made that tenfold. Now let's talk about the sequels. What do you think of the sequels?
So, I don't know if I've ever seen the third one all the way through.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually like the third one. It's not terrible.
Terminator Salvation, I think, is actually a pretty good movie.
It's not terrible as well. The writing isn't great, but there's a lot of, like, the CGI in it's actually pretty fucking awesome. Like, the way it's
cool story.
shot is so well done. The story's pretty cool. There's so much behind the scenes trivia on that movie too, where they were going to, basically there was an alternate ending where John Connor is killed by the Terminator at the end, and what's his name? Sam Worthington's character, I forget his name. Damn, I'm trying to think of it. But his character is like, that like hybrid Terminator.
Yeah.
They basically take John Connor's skin and put it over Sam Worthington's, and like he's now John Connor but a Terminator. That was the alternate ending, which is
kind of fucked up.
It's kind of fucked up, but also kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because at the end he's just like on a fucking helicopter, like, I'm almost dead. Yeah, I don't know. The movie's okay. And like a lot of people say that movie sucks because it's written by the people who wrote Catwoman, the Catwoman movie with Halle Berry, and that movie's supposed to be fucking garbage. But yeah, Terminator Salvation's not terrible. I just hated that it was PG-13, and then they had an R-rated cut that came out, but it like didn't really change much.
Yeah.
Then you have Terminator Genesis.
I never saw it.
It's okay. I need to rewatch it. And then Terminator Dark Fate, which
Never
I
saw that either.
Like, Terminator Genesis was supposed to restart and like do a whole new trilogy.
Yeah.
And then Dark Fate was supposed to do the same thing. Dark Fate sucked ass, in my opinion. It was terrible.
Yeah, I heard it was unbelievably bad, so I just...
Yeah.
It's like A Good Day to Die Hard. I don't consider it canon, so...
I know.
I don't really... In my opinion, the Terminator issue was solved in Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Judgment Day was prevented.
Yeah.
Everybody went to live on a happy life.
Apparently the Sarah Connor Chronicles are really good. That's a really good one.
Oh, the TV show?
Yeah, I never watched it. Again, so I mentioned this in the first Terminator review that we did for the first movie. I have an awesome fucking idea for a prequel/sequel. I think I told you about it, Jake.
Yeah, you did.
Recall.
It is a really good idea.
I think it's such a good idea, and it would be so dope. Like Alien Romulus vibes or like Aliens vibes is what the movie would go for, and it would be so sick. But I don't want to say it because it's never going to get made. But I mean, should I say it? Should I do it?
No.
Okay, good. I won't do it. All right. DM me if you want to hear it. Maybe I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie is fucking iconic, and we'll see because I think James Cameron has the rights again. So we'll see if they make something else with it. But
wasn't he involved in Dark Fate?
Yes, he was. I think he wrote part of it, and he was an executive producer. But he basically retconned a lot of his movies. Like he retconned post Terminator 2. It's very interesting. Basically,
like
spoiler
basically
alert.
everything between Terminator 2 and Dark Fate was like doesn't exist, right?
Yeah, it's like an alternate time. It's interesting. It's confusing, but
yeah. Again, you can't get too complicated with time travel, or else nobody knows what's going on.
That, and also it's like you don't need to do a money cash grab. Like, let's make more movies. Again, I have an awesome idea for a sequel, but it's like actually
add to
to the story, not just try and remake it, basically.
Yeah.
But we'll see if they come out with something new. I don't know if they will. I mean,
I think they should just let it.
Yeah, because I mean, the movies haven't been making a ton of money, but also everything's so fucking high budget these days. It's like, how do you make money? Like, I read that the new Jurassic World needs to make $700 million to be profitable. I mean, I'm sure it will, but that's fucking insane.
It's crazy.
Because these movies have these crazy $200 to $300 million budgets, and they have to make that back and double that because the movie theaters, marketing costs, and movie theaters get half the box office receipts. So if the movies makes $500 million at the box office, they only get $250 million of that. So it's, I don't know. It's movies these days. I don't know. But
yeah, we need more really, really good, low budget like indie movies.
And I would, if you guys
the original Terminator.
Yes, and there's a movie that's like Terminator in a sense called Upgrade, and it's on Netflix. And if you guys
watched it,
did you? Oh, I told you to watch it when you were here, right?
On the plane ride home, I watched it. I think.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was pretty good.
I love that movie. I think it's so underrated. That movie was made. Okay, knowing how that movie looks, that movie was made with a $6 million budget.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because
it looks like a fully fledged like
$40 million, $80 million movie.
Yeah,
like that's what's cool about Alien Romulus. Alien Romulus was only made for $80 million, which is still a lot of money. Don't get me wrong,
but I mean,
it's like you make movies like that, you're gonna make money. So
right,
but yeah, Terminator 2. I mean, this movie's fucking iconic. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. Is there anything else you want to add or like that you think? When you think of this movie?
I mean, it's just so good. I don't know. It scared the shit out of me as a kid, but I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was obsessed with that movie. I always wore like a leather jacket and sunglasses like that. So my dad had that shit because he had that Harley.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So this movie's iconic. I mean, it's so grounded in my childhood and your childhood that it's like... It lives in infamy. I mean, this movie is incredible. And
the only other thing that like really bothers me is that now about James Cameron is that now he's like promoting AI. I was like, you wrote the quintessential anti-AI movie
before like it was even existing.
Before like anyone even knew what that was.
Yeah.
And then now you're like, I can't wait to work with AI in movies. Like, God, it makes me upset.
Judgment Day, man, it's coming.
James Cameron is going to be Miles, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Miles Bennett Dyson.
Yeah, Miles Bennett Dyson.
Miles Bennett Dyson. Got my dog coming in for another cameo.
Maybe James Cameron is a Terminator, and his entire mission was just to create Skynet.
It's highly possible. I think we should end on that note. That's our 100th episode, guys. Thanks again for supporting us. Like, subscribe, listen to our reviews, listen to the first Terminator review. That's a great episode.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys enjoy this episode. We love doing these. If you guys have any suggestions for us, let us know. But we got 100 down, and we got more to come.
Yep. Next week we continue box office month and wrap it up with Coming to America. So that'll be another drastic departure from this week's themes.
But it's back to 80s movies.
Back to 80s movies.
So,
Yeah.
we're going to get back to it. Don't worry. I mean, eventually we might do some 90s movies because 90s movies fucking rock.
Yeah, I think probably next year we'll start sprinkling in other stuff.
We'll have like a 90s month sprinkled in or something.
Yeah.
And just do 90s movies. Because I want to do like a Bruce Willis month or like an Arnold 90s month, which would be super fun. So, let us know what you think of that too. So, we'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching and listening.
Yeah, see you.